I went to his place, opened the door. No, the door was wide open. Shock on me. I found him there. He was with another girl. Let me call that girl F. And they were having lunch. And what they were having that day was liver, greens with ugali. So I entered and I'm like, hi
guys, welcome to the second episode of Young, Stupid and Broke. So you heard her previously from her kienyeji boyfriend and we are here. She like jumped from the frying pan into the real furnace, or rather I don't know how to put it, but it was the ultimate.
I think I jumped from calling a pot black and I was just a kettle.
So let's see how and let's see why. Then at the end of it all, we'll get to learn what she learned from this major toxic relationship, and what you see, definitely what it taught her. Yeah? So let's get straight into it. Subscribe if you haven't.
If you had my previous story, I told you guys that I entered a new relationship on the July 13th of 2018. So this guy, I don't know what happened, but I had gone to apply for help. I had gone to apply for help at that time. So I went, began the process the first day. But the first day, we didn't manage to finish everything because they wanted the signature of referees and I didn't have them, and plus during that day the help portal was also kinda disturbing, so I decided to go and relax. So I go to the house, I just relax. My elder brother had promised he would help me, but he didn't and time was running out. So on the 13th I decided to go back to the cyber. On the 13th I go back to the cyber and I find a boy, another guy. Let's call this other guy Jay. So I go to the cyber and I find Jay. Jay happens to be the owner of the cyber. So I go to him. He was mopping it, and I'm like, hi, with the same voice I'm telling you. I was here the other day because I had paid and I didn't want to be charged extra. I was here the other day. We had begun the help process, but we didn't manage to finish. So I have come to finish today. And it's like, okay, just wait outside there. Let me finish mopping a little bit, and then I'll attend to you. So he finishes and he attends to me. We go there. The help portal isn't working. So in the process, this guy is like asking me questions and etc. So I, since the portal wasn't working, I decided to go home and it's like, relax, because there were other customers who were there. It's like, relax, please don't go. So see, I relax. After the customers left, I told him now I'll come back when the help portal decides to function again. So he gives me his phone and he asks me to insert my number. I do that. At that time I still didn't have a good phone. At that time I had a phone, I think it had a green cover at the back, and then the battery was just there. You know these phones that you can only use when you're charging. You can't use them outside the charger. So he texted me. I go home that night. He texts me, hi, it's me, Jay, the guy you had given your number and etc. So we begin talking, and this one, guys, we began dating that night. And he's like, I would be very happy if you became my girlfriend and etc. And I'm like, why not? See, I decide then tomorrow, the following day was on a Saturday. I go on a Saturday, I think so. Was it Saturday? I can't remember very well, but I think it was on a Saturday. So I go. He texts me in the morning. He's like, good morning. You guys, you know that day I woke up very early in the morning, as early as 6, did my house chores, something that I don't normally do, because I was just waiting for 7 to reach so that I could take a shower and go to the cyber. So I woke up and he's like, good morning, how are you? How have you been? And a lot of things. I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And he's like, I'm going to town today. Do you mind accompanying me? And I'm like, no, I can't take you. And etc. And he's like, okay, then come and give me a hug. And do you know, I ran. I didn't think twice. So I go there, I give him a hug, insists I accompany him to town, but I refuse. So he comes back in the evening, takes me for a late lunch. We have lunch and we talk and etc. He asks me about my previous relationship, what I've been doing, what I've been up to, and a lot of things. We just do a lot of catching up. So we are dating with this guy. everything is okay at this point. So I come to campus. And on coming to campus, I had promised him that I'll bring him to where I stay. But I did not, simply because I wasn't comfortable with it. I wasn't comfortable with him coming to school at that time, and I was just a fresher. I was thinking of, these people will think that, these are the days I used to think like, dating is, I'm not yet, as in I used to feel like dating is a sin at this point, because I used to know that if my dad knew that I was seeing somebody, I would be dead. So I knew that it was a wrong thing. I didn't want him to come because of that. And I was naive. I was just naive. I didn't know. I was still young in relationships. I was naive and I didn't know. So I just didn't invite him to my place. I didn't show him where I was staying. Kumbe, this guy, by me not bringing him to my place, he took it seriously. He took it seriously. That's all I can say, because that is something he's been telling me over for a very long period of time, even when things began going haywire, when we were okay and etc. So I didn't bring him. The first weekend I go to his place. We had agreed that if I go to campus and our campus was nearer his place, I would be going there during the weekends. So I go to his house, I wash the utensils, I would clean his room and etc. So I would do this on every weekend. I would leave, in fact, on our timetable, we had lessons from Monday to Wednesday, right? Yeah. Then from Thursday to Monday we were free. So I would leave on Thursday and I would come back to school on Monday morning. 8 would find me in school because I used to have a class at 8 in the morning. So I would leave his place at around 7 in the morning, and by 8 I would be in school. We continued dating, and then after some time things just began going haywire. I don't really know how things went from good to bad. I can't remember when, but I remember one day in the morning I was washing the utensils, and then all of a sudden all the cups just fell down and they broke. And this guy he didn't talk to me, he didn't do nothing, he just took his bag and left and went to his job. Now mimi hapo nikajua today kimeumana. I picked those glasses up, continued with everything and just finished. So he comes in the morning and is like, sasa wewe mtu anakuleta kwake na unavunja tu vitu. And imagine when those things were breaking, we were together in the house. It's not like I took them and just began throwing them etc. We were together. And it's like mtu anakuleta kwake na unavunja everything. And I was really sorry. I was really sorry, and I was like, please forgive me, it won't happen again, and a lot more things. So we continued dating, but at this point this guy was already moving out of the relationship, but I was the only one who was staying, and I wasn't seeing that because I think I loved him. I loved him. I was the only one in the relationship. So after some time, he wouldn't talk to me for a period of time, and I'm like, Kwani, what's not happening? And sasa mi pia those days I decided if he's not talking to me, then I'm also not talking to him. So he would call me after 1 week, he'd text me and he's like, hi, how are you? Do you mind coming over? etc. And as usual, I will just pack my things and go. So I would go spend the whole weekend there, but things were just not the same. We were no longer how we used to be and etc. So one day I was at home, and when I was at home I was supposed to go and visit my sister. I was supposed to go visit my sister, and it was on a Sunday. But since he was acting weird that Saturday when we were talking, I decided today let me pay him a visit. It was in the evening. I went just before 2. I went to his place, opened the door. No, the door was wide open. Shock on me. I found him there. He was with another girl. Let me call that girl F. And they were having lunch. And what they were having that day was liver, greens with ugali. So I entered and I'm like, hi. And he's also like, hi, but he was surprised. He didn't expect me there on a Sunday. My dad is at home. I can't leave the house because where am I going to on Sunday in the afternoon? So he knew I wouldn't come to his place on a Sunday. So I go to I'm like, hi, how are you? He's shocked. The girl seated on the chair is also shocked, but they continue eating their food, surprisingly. So they eat and I'm like, Jay, who is she? And the girl was just there. She was just listening. And I repeat, Jay, who is she? And Jay tells me she's just a friend. Then the girl just starts throwing tantrums. You know, you lied to me, just tell her the truth, and a lot of things. Imagine she was even jumping up and down. Mimi naye I just went, kitu iliniuma hiyo siku ni he had bought that girl chocolate. That is something he only does to me. So me, I just went and took that chocolate and began eating and sat down and wait for explanations. So I'm seated. After sitting, the girl is like, just tell her the truth, we are dating. And I'm like, you guys are dating? Yeah, she told me yes, they've been dating. And she tells me they've been dating for 4 good years. And that was after me asking, who is the side chick here? Am I the one who is being cheated on, or is she the one who is being cheated on? Then the girl is like, we've been dating for 4 years. In those 4 years, I've been in that relationship for 1 year at that time. So I'm like, who? And then Jay was like, no, it's not been 4 years, stop lying, etc and etc. So the girl is like, it's 4 years. And so he tells me they've been dating for 4 years, and I'm like, okay. And then Jay suddenly tells the girl to leave. Remember, this is somebody he's been with from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The whole day, apart from in the afternoon, the girl was taking a shower, was supposed to take a shower, wash the utensils, and then leave. She was going to work. And I was like, okay. So he tells the girl to leave. The girl packs her clothes and everything and just leaves. And he leaves both of us in the room. So after leaving both of us in the room, you know, definitely lies and lies and lies. Guess what? Default settings. I'm back to loving him. Nothing ever happened. In fact, I stayed there the night and I told my sister I would go there the following day, because why not? So I stay. The following day, F calls in the morning. When F was calling, Jay didn't want to pick the phone because I was there. Jay on Monday was also going to work. So as I left for my sister's place, we left together. F calls again. Jay doesn't pick up to please me. So I go to my sister's place. Guess what? I didn't hear from Jay for that whole week. I would call him and he'll be like, hey, I'm busy, I'm working. Kwani, are you my wife? Why do you want to know a lot of things about me? And a lot of things. This is somebody I've been dating for 1 year. I love him at this point. So I'm like, okay, no problem. So after that, we opened school. I come back to school for my 2nd year. Jay and I are still seeing each other. I used to turn a blind. I would forgive him for everything he would do. Little did I know that I was losing myself in doing that. So we come back to school, and you know, we normally have these 2 instincts. So one day I just felt like, no, things are not right. You guys do know I left school at around 6 a.m. So by 6:30 I was at his door. I knocked. He didn't open. I inserted my hands. It was locked with a padlock. But I decided no, he couldn't have left this early morning. So I decided to stay. And shock on me, I just stayed there. The door was finally opened. There was another girl inside there. And what was rang in my memory was like, how would they decide to lock themselves inside the room? By this time, he was in a single room. Let me just be honest. So I mlickered and I saw 2 figures on the bed, and I decided, okay, so there are two. Let me just wait outside. Yes, I waited. The door was opened. Immediately the door was opened, I just got inside. And on getting inside, Jay got scared. He thought I would cause drama, or he thought I would do something. He just held me and told the girl to leave. So the girl leaves. I'm left with Jay.
Now, this is F or a different?
A different one, not even F. This one, not even a different. You see this one, there was a day I was at the cyber with Jay. This one comes and hugs Jay. And I'm like, okay, I didn't react at that time. But when I went home, I asked Jay, who is that girl who hugged you? She's like, that is just my church member. He's my churchmate. Something of the sort. Now, I come and see the churchmate in the house. It was the churchmate who was in the house. And they were just from bed. Because remember, I've told you, I peeped. And I saw 2 figures on the bed. So, this other girl, let's call her M. John holds me, M dresses, and M leaves. Now after M leaves, Jay is like, why have you come here in the morning? Why didn't you tell me you were coming? I mean, these were things that were not, they were not there. I used to go there anytime I wanted. It's like, why didn't you tell me you were coming? Mbona unakuja tu kwangu ukijisikia? And I'm like, hey, what's not happening? So I'm still in the relationship. We talk. Today things didn't go well. I just got mad, left and blocked Jay. But after blocking Jay, no sooner had I reached school than I unblocked him. So he calls me back, we talk, and guess what? Me, the following day I went to Jay's place, we stayed and etc. So yes, during those days, it was still up. We had a lot of downs. I don't know if he was trying to tell me to leave and I overstayed my visit. Okay, so after some time again, we continue dating, things are okay. Again, I have this intuition. I just feel like these things used to come to me because the minute he doesn't call me at night, something that he normally does, and also he doesn't talk to me the way he does during the day, I know he's up to something. So this time I decided to go, but I didn't go early. I went around 8 in the morning. I was at home, so I decided to go at 8 in the morning. This time the door wasn't closed. I don't know what had happened. He had opened the door and left, and then just came back and entered the bed. So this time I just entered, switched on the lights, and he had a talking bulb. The bulb will talk in Chinese. So I think they had the bulb talking, and he quickly woke up, jumped and switched off the bulb. Shock on me, there was another girl. No, it wasn't M, neither was it F. Another one, a completely different one. And I asked him, kwani what's not happening? So this one, I just sat on the chair and I was just crying as this one was dressing in the dark, ready to leave just like the others normally do. And this is a true story. So I just sat there and I cried. And then Jay tells me, I told you not to come to my house without telling me you were coming. So me, I just sat there, I cried. After finishing crying, I just walked out, put on my shoes and left. I think that was the point I decided enough is enough. So I left. After leaving, he calls me back, he texts me, etc. We talk, but we're still not settling on one thing. But at long last, we settled on something. But I knew F was still in the picture during that time. So F just began texting me things, telling me I don't know what. Kwanza I remember there was this day she told me, kama huko kuna musheraha iko hapo kwa chupa, please usimwage. And I'm like, what is musheraha? Alafu he goes even, I ask myself that question and it's like, hey, it's like she had me, I don't know. She texts me, kama ujui mushereha ni kitu tunaekanga kwa mboga kienyeji kama mrenda kunde etc. And I'm like, hey. And you guys, you know, I went and it's true, mushereha was in the house. And I'm like, okay, let me relax. Because me, I remember that boy told me he doesn't take those mbogas for kisses. That's what he used to call them. And I'm like, how kumpe Fanis makes mushereha and etc. But it really hurt me. And I didn't even ask him about that or anything. So I just ignored it. So after we broke up, I decided enough is enough. I broke up with him for some time, and then after some time I loved this boy. He talked to me and we got back together and we continued dating, yes, but at this time, you know, when you find somebody cheating and you tell them, they evolve. What is it? They mutate. Now he mutated his way of cheating and etc. This time I wasn't allowed to touch his phone. In fact, he even changed his passwords and a lot of things, so I couldn't even touch the phone. And he would even go to shower with his phone, he would go to the toilet with his phone, he would do basically everything with his phone. Mi nikaona hapa things are not yet straight, but since I love him, let me just stay. So when we met with Jay told me he was 28 years old. So this day I was just cleaning the house and I normally see a bag hang there, a computer bag, a laptop bag. So I decided to go and see the contents in the bag. Shock on me. Shock on me. Do you know what I saw? The first thing that I saw was Jay's photocopy, ID's photocopy. On it, the date of birth. Still shocks me to date. Huh? And I even went and looked at the name just to confirm if it was Jay's name, and it was his. And the date of birth was 1985. So I'm shocked. I go and text him very fast. Hi, hello, how are you? How has your day been? I'm at his house at this place at this moment, and I ask him, how old are you really, Jay? Jay realizes that I have seen things. He doesn't tell me nothing. He comes in the evening, and guess what? He gets mad at me for looking at his things without his permission. And all of a sudden, do you know, roles changed. I began begging, and I was like, I'm sorry, you know, age is just a number. I'm sorry that I went through your things. It won't happen again. You know, if I wouldn't have loved you, I would have left immediately. I saw that, and many other things. But that day I saw his age. He also had a diary where he wrote his things. Jay had 2 children who are both girls. So I found out about all these things, and he tells me
he was married.
No, he wasn't married.
But he had kids.
He had children, you know. Yes, he had children. He wasn't married. So I'm like, where? Here? But who am I? I have a big heart. The only difference is me and Jesus is that Jesus died for our sins, but I cannot. I have a big heart, and I forgave him, and we forged forward. We were dating. Things just continued. Now, the time now we broke up, and really, okay, this one is a funny one, and to me it's normally also painful. Because this day I was washing his doormat, and the doormat was kind of old, so it kind of teared a little bit. Now, after it teared, in the morning when I was bringing it in, he saw the teared part, and you know, he told me to leave, and I was like, please don't leave me because of this, and I begged him not to leave me, and he slapped me because I was begging him. He said I was making noise in his ears, so he slaps me. I just carry my things and I go back to school, and that was it. We didn't date for quite some time until last year. Sometime last year, I was like, hi, how are you?
So
can we talk?
After the slap and everything, you now opted to like break up?
Yes, I just left, and he told me to just go. Plus he also told me that he told me to go, so I go. And then after some time, okay, I left, but I was still begging him to take me back. And I was like, to me it wasn't a big issue, but because to him it was a big issue, I made it a big issue to me too. So I was begging him, and I would ask him, but after 2 days I saw I was leaving and he wasn't talking to me and everything was okay. I decided, why not, let me live my life. So I lived my life. After some time, he texts me sometimes after Corona. During Corona, he texts me like, hey, how are you? Can we talk? You know, I used to be at peace with you. I used to be happy with you, and etc. And a lot of things. So I take him back. We continue dating. So one day I decide to open up to him, and I tell him, hi, how are you? What are you planning? Like, what are your plans with me? What are your intentions? And etc. And he opens up. He tells me, let me just be honest with you, because he normally told me to be honest. I impregnated a girl, and I'm supposed to be marrying the girl. And he also tells me that he was taken to chief because of impregnating the girl, and the verdict was that he marries the girl. So at this time, he tells me simply because he's the one who came back to me and begged me, and I thought maybe the girl is 1 month pregnant or something. So I asked him, when is the girl due? He tells me the girl is due next month. And I'm like, hey? I asked him, why did you come to me when you know very well you've impregnated somebody, and this is somebody you are planning to live with in a month's time? And it's like, he didn't tell me nothing. He just told me he wanted me to tell you the truth, and there is the truth. And so I'm like, okay. I cried that day. You guys, I cried. He told me that at around 6 p.m. I cried. I woke up, went to his cyber, just to confirm if whatever he was telling me was true. And at this time, curfew was, I think, at 9 or 10. I think at 10, just to confirm if what he was telling me is true. So I go there and I'm crying. tears are just here. Yani, I couldn't believe. I just thought he wanted to hurt me because that's what he's used to. And I asked him, and he's like, now why are you crying and we're still together? See, I'm still here with you. Why are you crying? So at that time, I thought by being with him, it will lessen the pain, but it didn't. The following day, I woke up very early in the morning and I decided to take a stroll. Me, when I'm normally stressed, I just decide to stroll and go anywhere. So I decided to take a stroll. I'm strolling. If I think about the things that are in my head and I'm like, why are these things even happening to me? I'm like, why did I even meet this man? Because even if it was help, I didn't even apply for help but during that time. I mean, I left the process hanging. So I'm like, hey, things are not okay. So I stayed, but I stayed with him thinking that if I stayed with him, it would lessen the pain, but it didn't. It did not. So the girl gives birth. They have a beautiful baby girl. The girl gives birth, the girl moves in, and they live together. And the funny thing is that he lied to me to the last minute. He even lied about being taken to chief and the chief giving the last verdict. It was all a lie. So I refused. So I date him, but after the girl moved in and I'm like, kwani mimi will I be dating a married man? I told myself that is not something that I want for me. I cannot do that. So I told myself it's either you cry today and it ends, or you decide to cry every day with that man. So I told myself, no, I'll just cry today and it will end. I'll cry today, and if I cry tomorrow, I'll still cry as long as it ends. So we broke her. I decided to quit, and he has the audacity. He texts me back and ananiuliza if I can be. He wants me to be his side chick since we've been dating for 3 years, that I'm still his girl and all of those. And I'm like, Me, I told him, I cannot do such a thing. I can't. So the other day, there was a time I was in school. He texted me. He's like, hi, can we meet? And I'm like, no. And he's like, Dan, are you hungry? And stuff. I told him, yes, I need money. So he sends, you remember that day? He sends me 500 shillings. And he wanted to come to my place the following day. Oh, Mimi, I went and slept at my friend's place. I didn't even care. So he comes the following day. I had blocked him everywhere. But you see in my phone, if you've blocked someone, there's a way you can go and check if they've texted or called you. I find he's called me a lot of times and I find a lot of texts. It's like, I'll just forget. With time, you'll just fade in my mind. Diana, where are you? Sijui, I'm being told you slept at your boyfriend's place. Sijui, your boyfriend is just your neighbor. And a lot of other things. But I told myself, no, I'm not going back there. And he would begin insulting me simply because I told him no. He would ask me, do you want me to come? I'll tell him no, and he'll be like, why don't you want me to come? Because you have scandals in school, because you have a lot of boyfriends. I'll tell him no, I'm not. And he's like, you're cheating on me. And I'm like, am I cheating on a married man? And I told him no, and my stand today is still no. Even if he offers to buy me a car or an iPhone 13, I'd still tell him no, because whatever I saw in that relationship, I am not ready to cry. I mean, I lost myself. Do you know the meaning of losing yourself? You remember even I used to cook for you guys and the food wasn't fooding.
She put salt, then
I put a lot. It reached a time I decided I'll just be washing the utensils, let them do the cooking, because I lost myself. And then I realized I was losing weight, and I told myself, Mimi, losing weight because of somebody's son.
So that's how everything ended.
That's how everything ended. But up to date, he still, if he remembers me, he texts me and asks if I want to be his side chick, and he tells me that that's the best offer. If he was the one, he would have taken it, and if I refused, he would still insult me. But I block him each and every time.
So now, looking back at how everything happened, what would you tell the girl you were at that time? Looking back, what would you tell yourself?
I will tell that girl, immediately you saw the red flag, the first one, you'd have run away. I think that is what I would tell myself, because me remembering myself when I was a young girl, when I was younger, yes, I'm still young. When I was younger, these are things that never used to stress me. Somebody would tell me something and I'd be like, you're lost, and I'll go. I mean, this boy weakened me. So I think if I were to go back, I'll tell myself I wouldn't have leg guard, I wouldn't have laid back a little bit. I think I would have just remained that girl, and probably maybe right now I'd still be that girl.
Did it like change your perspective on dating? And
Yes, it changed. It really changed my perspective. First and foremost, I cannot just trust anyone right now. Secondly, I find it very hard to date anyone. And if you know, most of the times I'm normally in school. If I'm not at your place, I'm in my room the whole day. It's just changed my perspective on meeting. Sometimes I just walk and nisikie watu wananuka wanaume, and I feel like slapping everybody outside there. It's okay, it changed me that I cannot date right now. Okay, I think I'm still not yet ready. And plus, I cannot love someone the way I can't love someone truly right now, and I cannot trust somebody 100%.
So what advice can you give to the other young and stupid out here?
Just know your worth. Know your worth and make sure you know it very well. Know yourself very well in such a way that nothing can break you and nothing can make you lose trust in you. Love yourself more before you love somebody else. These things do happen. We all fall in love, but fall in love cautiously.
And take the brain with
Yes.
you.
And don't let anyone make you let your guard down. Never let your guard down. Love yourself. And in case you see somebody begin acting different, just the first time, don't take it lightly. It might be the cause of all problems. Remember, usipoziba ufa utajenga ukuta. Yes.
So guys, that is it for the second episode of Young,
Dumb,
and Broke. And it was, you can see, like, looking at everything, you're like, kwani how did this girl take in everything? Like,
no, you guys, wait. You see, before that, I would tell this my friends here, and I didn't even tell them. I used to be very secretive, right?
Yeah.
They didn't even know I was dating. I used to be very secretive. So one of my friends started to notice that if I look at the phone, my mood just changes. And they're like, "Kwani, what's disturbing you?" So I decided to tell them one day, and they're like, "Mi mwanaume anafanya nikose kukula mimi." And they're like, "Utanipea." And they're like, "Utanipea nyama yako." Wait, one of them got their heartbreak, and they were like,
and she listen. In the next episode, we are going to tell you what this
other friend. And she was like, Yani, you used to pass through all those things, and you just used to be quiet. And I'm like, how could I tell you when all you could tell me is mimi mwanaume azifanya nilie, utanipea nyama yako ukishindwa kukula. By the way, I never used to eat. Yani appetite ilienda, and running to the toilet. Yani, I don't know how is the stomach related to a heartbreak? How are they related?
We will find out how.
I used to run to the I've not eaten, but I'll rush to the loo. Hey, may I thank God, those are things I left in the past.
And those are things we look at and laugh at. So guys, that was it for episode 2. It was I know you felt that empathy, that storytelling was catchy. And see you in the next episode, guys. If you've reached here, thank you so much. Keep on subscribing, give this video a like, leave a comment, and that's how you get to support this channel. So until next time,
bye.